Here during that elongation, what happens? Ribosomal machinery is carrying elongation process where ribosomes, yeah, I will repeat that once, then I will give notes. Here, based on the genetic codes present on mRNA, three reactions of elongation process are taking place in 5' to 3' direction on mRNA molecule. Okay. Here, tRNA molecule will be bringing one amino acid. So, that is what we are calling delivery of charged tRNA. That is the first step. Okay. That is facilitated by energy only. And next step, peptide bond formation. This amino acid, what is present here, that will be bound to this amino acid by forming a peptide bond. Okay, that is second step. By third step, what happens in ribosomes? The tRNA with amino acid, what is present in A site, that will be shifted to P site again. Now the A site is again free. So that A site will be filled with one more tRNA. Like that, the process is repeated for several times. For several times, the process of elongation with three reactions will be repeated many times. So that based on the number of genetic codes present on mRNA until it reaches termination codon or stop codon. Until it reaches stop codon, there is incorporation of many amino acids which are carried by the tRNA molecule. Many tRNA molecules are carrying many amino acids. Once it reaches a stop codon, what is stop codon? UAA, UAG, UGA. Once it reaches stop codon, then the process will be terminated. And for the elongation process, energy is also required. That energy is used. That is, one ATP molecule and two GTP molecules are used for the elongation process. Here, where this energy is used means, this energy is used for only two reactions. One is delivery of charged tRNA. Delivery of tRNA uses energy, and translocation process, translocation step of elongation uses energy. Whereas the reaction where peptide bond is formed, right, that step is not using any energy. Here, during the delivery of charged tRNA, why there is need of energy or how energy is used means, here the tRNA will combine with mRNA. Codon-anticodon pairing takes place. During that codon and anticodon pairing, there is need of energy. Energy is taken by the ribosomes in the form of ATP and GTP. Usually for elongation, one ATP molecule and two GTP molecules are used for the elongation step. Take notes for this elongation, then I will explain termination mechanism. Okay? Write notes for this elongation process. Elongation of protein chain. Elongation of protein chain takes place by the formation of peptide bonds, by the formation of peptide bonds between amino acids, between amino acids, as ribosomes move along the mRNA, as ribosomes move along the mRNA. Ribosomes move along the mRNA. Next point. The tRNA with anticodon carries amino acid and binds with codon over mRNA. Codon over mRNA. Thus carrying amino R, thus transferring or transporting amino acids to ribosome. Transporting amino acids to ribosome. Next point. The process of elongation takes place in three reactions. A. Delivery of charged tRNA. To the A site of ribosome. Next point. B. A peptide bond formation between two amino acids over two tRNAs in P site and A site. Transferring amino acid from P site, or transferring amino acid from the tRNA in P site, to the tRNA in A site. Next, continuation. This reaction is carried by peptidyl transferase. Next point. C. Movement of mRNA. Who is this? Shruti, G6 Shruti. Leaving and joining. Moving of ribosomes. Movement or moving of ribosomes to the next genetic code on mRNA. This results in shift of tRNA with tRNA with amino acids or tRNA with peptide chain. tRNA with peptide, tRNA with peptide from A site to P site. From A site to P site and called translocation. Okay. Next point. The three reactions are repeated continuously until the ribosome reaches a stop codon. Okay, next point. The process of elongation is facilitated by proteins called elongation factors. Next step, next point. Two reactions of elongation, delivery of tRNA and translocation. Need energy. But peptide bond formation does not need energy. Next point. Overall, yeah, please repeat the point again. Okay. Two reactions, delivery of tRNA, translocation need energy, whereas peptide bond formation does not need energy. No energy is needed for peptide bond formation. Next step, next point. Overall 1 ATP and 2 GTPs, 1 ATP and 2 GTPs are needed for every amino acid. For every amino acid, 1 ATP and 2 GTPs are needed for every amino acid during elongation. That means for one amino acid, 3 reactions are taking place, right? So for every amino acid, 3 molecules, 1 ATP and 2 GTPs. So total 3 molecules are needed for one cycle of these 3 reactions. Suppose 100 amino acids are used, then 100 ATP and 100 GTP molecules are required. Understand? For one amino acid, there is use of 1 ATP and 2 GTP molecules. Suppose 100 amino acids are made in this peptide. Here 2 amino acids are there. Like that, many amino acids are joined and there is formation of a peptide. Suppose 100 amino acids are formed in this peptide means then the total energy used may be 100 ATPs and 100 GTPs. Okay, that is about this one. What? Elongation step of translation or protein synthesis. Is it clear? Any doubts on this elongation? Yeah, 200 GTPs. Yeah, for 100 amino acids, 100 ATP and 200 GTP. Total 300 total. For one amino acid, why peptide bond formation does not need energy? Because peptide bond formation, just a CO and NH groups, carboxylic and amino groups are involving and bond is formed. No need of energy. But I mean, tRNA should combine with that to add to ribosome, and codon anticodon pairing, that interactions need energy. You know, when energy is formed or when energy is released or when energy is used based on the type of the bond formed or bond broken, then only there is need or release of energy. Energy may be taken or released. Now energy will not release here, only energy is used. That's all. See that? Next, termination factor. I mean termination step of protein synthesis. What happens during the termination process? Suppose here I am writing a ribosome. Elongation process is carried. What happens during elongation? Suppose here a long mRNA with number of genetic codes are involved in elongation means a large number of genetic codes were involved in elongation, so that there is a formation of a peptide with more amino acids like this. A peptide with more amino acids are formed. This is after the translocation step. Okay, here suppose a codon is there. Next, suppose UAA or UAG, UGA, a stop codon came here. A stop codon came here means normally to the genetic code what is present here, there should be binding of another tRNA that will bring amino acid. But there is no specific tRNA for stop codons. How many stop codons are there? 3 stop codons are there. For that 3 stop codons, there is no particular tRNA that has a specificity that can bind with a stop codon. Suppose any tRNA is there that can bring amino acid means that can come and combine with this UAA or UAG, UGA stop codon. No problem. But there is no specific tRNA that can carry amino acid and that can bind with this UAA or UAG, UGA. So that what happens? There is no, I mean, after this, delivery of charged tRNA should take place. but that step is not possible because there is no specific tRNA that can combine with any of stop codon. UAG, 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 UAA, UGA. 3 stop codons. There is no particular. So delivery of charged tRNA failed. There is no tRNA that can combine with this stop codon. This tRNA is there means that can come and bind with this stop codon. But there is no tRNA that can combine with UAA. So no tRNA is coming. So delivery of charged tRNA process is stopped. That is not possible. Delivery of charged tRNA is not possible. After that, what should take place? Peptide bond formation must be taken place. Here there is no tRNA. As there is no tRNA, peptide bond formation is also not possible. Peptide bond is not possible. So peptide bond is also not possible means here this peptide will not come to A site. During the peptide bond formation, what happens? The peptide or amino acid what is present here, that will be shifted to this one. So that is also not possible. Then what happens? Next step, translocation is taking place. When translocation takes place, UAA is actually in A site. Now it will come to P site. UAA will come to P site. A site, if any further mRNA is there means that will come into A site. No problem. But this UAA occupied P site. So UAA came here means this will come out. So peptide will release out from ribosome. Peptide releases from the ribosomes when it reaches the stop codon. So peptide is released means protein synthesis is stopped. Translation process there it will stop. Suppose here a long mRNA with many genes are there. Let us assume. Okay. Suppose here somewhere there is a sequence called AUG. AUG sequence is here. As AUG sequence is here, protein synthesis will start here. In the reading frame, suppose UAG came in the reading frame here. UAG came in the reading frame. That means protein synthesis will take place from here to here. This length of mRNA will be translated into protein. And the same mRNA, suppose somewhere again AUG is there means, there again protein synthesis will begin because there is a start codon in the reading frame. And again there is any stop codon means there the process will stop again. From here to there is synthesis of a peptide. Like that, I told you, here there may be presence of some introns exams. Introns means interbinding sequences which are responsible for non-coding sequences. That non-coding sequences may be released out. They may not be taken for protein synthesis. Whatever the RNA that is present between start codon and stop codon, the genetic codes or number of the genetic codes what are present between start codon and stop codon, that only will be taken for translation mechanism. Remaining will not be taken for translation process. Okay, understand? Understand? So based on the genetic codes present between start codon and stop codon, there will be the number of amino acids in peptide. Let us take some example. Let us take some example. I will give you a question. Suppose an mRNA is there. mRNA with 100 base pairs are there. 100 base pairs. In the mRNA with 100 base pairs, the start codon AUG will be there starting from 10, 11, 12 nucleotides. And the stop codon is made up of 97, 98 and 99th nucleotide. I think this diagram you understood. An mRNA is there in 5' to 3' direction, and on this mRNA start codon is made up of 10th, 11th and 12th nucleotide, and the stop codon is located at 97, 98 and 99th nucleotide. Total 100 nucleotides are there. Then how many amino acids will be present in the synthesizing peptide? Anyone? How many amino acids will be there? 88. Right. How many amino acids are possible? How are 88? How many amino acids will be there in the synthesizing peptide? Angeline, Pushparani, 100. Wow, really great. Rajalakshmi, Enna Lakshmi, 85. Eppadi varudhu? 85, 89. I am asking amino acids. Oh my God. Gen Z infant is giving excellent answer. 28, 24, 20. How, Rekha? 10 to 97, there is 88 amino acids, sir. Tarun Kumar, very good. Tarun Kumar only gave correct answer. 29 is correct. I am asking amino acids, not 88 or some other. Okay? See here, 10, 11, 12 means here 9 codons, 9 nucleotides are not involving in protein synthesis. Right? Here, this stop codon is also not involving. 1, 2, 3 and 100. 4 nucleotides are not involving. So 9 plus 4 means 13. 13 nucleotides are not involving. 13 nucleotides are not involving. So total 100 nucleotides are there. In that 13 are not involving means 87 nucleotides are involving. 87 nucleotides will form how many codons? 87 by 3. Because 3 nucleotides is 1 codon. 1 codon gives 1 amino acid. 29 codons are possible. 29 codons are possible. So that 29 codon means 1 codon will give 1 amino acid. Now tell me, how many amino acids will be made there? 29 amino acids will be possible. Yes, very good. Like that, you can calculate. Okay, based on this, I will give some more questions also, like assignment, I will give questions. Okay, after class, I will give some questions like assignment. We have to solve that questions and send in group again. I will give you a PDF file with questions related to this one. Both, this DNA replication, transcription, translation, and all I will give some questions related to that. Okay, right. Now write notes for this. Write notes for this termination process. Normally, like elongation factors are involving in elongation process and initiation factors are involving in initiation step. There is involvement of some termination factors or some proteins which are also called as release factors. That release factors are involving in termination process, which are some protein in nature. And normally 3 stop codons are there now: UAA, UAG, UGA. The 3 stop codons are given names: amber, ochre, opal. That I will tell you. Write that now. Okay. When any one of termination codons, UAA or UAG or UGA, present in mRNA, it indicates the end of protein synthesis. Okay. Next point. Stop codons do not code for any amino acid, and they act as stop signals. Okay, and act as stop signals. There are no tRNAs. That recognize the stop codons. There are no tRNA that recognize stop codons. And the presence of proteins named release factors alter the peptidyl transferase activity. This results in alter, ALTER, peptidyl transferase, PEPTIDYL, peptidyl transferase, and this results in release of the formed polypeptide. Binding of release factors alters the peptidyl transferase activity and results in the release of formed polypeptide. This step doesn't need energy. This step doesn't need energy. Okay, that is about the protein synthesis mechanism or translation. Then post translational modification or post translational changes, that is also called as processing of proteins processing, because as post-transcriptional modifications we studied already. What is that post-transcriptional modification we studied? According to that, post-transcriptional changes means the RNA molecules which are made from that transcription process or RNA polymerase activity, the RNA molecules what are made by the transcription, they are not readily involving in the translation. To involve in the translation, RNA molecules which are formed from transcription are undergoing some changes like splicing, poly-A tailing, and 5-methylguanosine capping. Some other changes like modified nitrogen bases, tailing, that they are the steps which are activating the mRNA molecule. The RNA molecules, yes, the hnRNA molecule, what is formed there, hnRNA molecule will be converted into mature mRNA. Mature mRNA is only involving in protein synthesis. Like here, the protein what is formed by protein synthesis is undergoing some changes. See the changes one by one. Deformylation. Deformylation. What is deformylation means? Formyl group. Formyl means a methyl group of N-formyl methionine. Normally methionine is the start codon. I mean methionine is coded by AUG because N terminal is always with methionine. Normally sometimes the methionine may be activated by formylation process. That formyl group what is present in methionine is removed by an enzyme deformylase. Normally AUG codon is the start codon. That AUG is coding for methionine. Methionine sometimes it may be present as N-formyl methionine. That means one extra methyl group may be there to the nitrogen in methionine. Okay, so that N-formyl group what is present in methionine, that may be removed by this deformylase enzyme, that is a protein processing step. Then conversion of, activation of enzyme or conversion of inactive to active, we can say. Conversion of inactive enzymes to active enzymes, that we can write as same activation of zymogens. Zymogen means, what is zymogen? Zymogen is inactive enzyme. because all enzymes are proteins, you know. Zymogen is an inactive enzyme. So that inactive enzyme, what is zymogen, may be modified into active form of enzyme. That is also a modification. This conversion of inactive zymogen into active enzyme may need some processes like removal of some amino acids, like that. Removal of amino acids. And here also there may be splicing. That splicing we can say removal of excess peptide or excess amino acids. Excess amino acids. That means extra peptides may be removed from the formed protein or formed peptide. Take an example. Suppose if you take an example for this removal, insulin is there. What is insulin? Insulin, Jai Sarna. Normality, Jai Sarna. We are normal only, sir. Insulin is a peptide, balanced blood glucose level. It is a peptide hormone. It is a protein hormone. Yeah, treatment of diabetes. I asked Jai Sarna. Jai Sarna is not responding. Sarna. Yes, sir. What is the role of this insulin, Jai Sarna? Why the rub? Voice is stucking, Yeah, voice is normal. Is the voice stucking? No, sir. Clear, sir. Yeah, clear only. Jai Sarna. Yeah, clear. Right. Very good. Excellent, Jai Sarna. That is responsible to control blood glucose level. Suppose if you take insulin, insulin is made as a precursor named pre-proinsulin. That pre-proinsulin may be broken down by breaking some or remove of some amino acids. There is formation of proinsulin. That proinsulin is again converted into matured insulin. Yeah, marketed as Humulin. Biotechnology complete, I think in state board biotechnology is complete. This is what is Humulin, Olaga? Olage. What is Humulin? It is marketed as Humulin. Okay. What is Humulin? Human insulin is Humulin, Really? Then why that name is given as insulin? Human insulin, right? Is human insulin? Neutral insulin is insulin. Really? Oh my God! I can't believe. Product of insulin. Wow. Wait, Rasidi, I will explain. What is this? Raka. Humulin means human insulin which is produced by biotechnology or genetic modification. If human insulin is produced through genetic engineering, then it is called as humulin. Okay? Like E. coli. In E. coli cell, it is produced. In bacteria, we can produce human insulin by genetic engineering. So it is called as humulin. Humulin means human insulin which is produced. Proinsulin, this pre-proinsulin that has around 110 amino acids are present in pre-proinsulin. So that is broken down into, it is a large peptide, what a pre-proinsulin. This is a precursor. Insulin gene is there. From the insulin gene, there is production of a protein called as a preproinsulin. That preproinsulin is again made with around 84 amino acids. And finally, it is matured to 51 amino acids. See here, 110 amino acids are around 110 are present in preproinsulin, but mature insulin has only 51. That means 2 times more amino acids are present. That excess amino acids or excess peptides which are present in proteins, they may be removed. Okay, that is what we are calling removal of excess amino acids. How zymogens get activated means, zymogens get activated by conformational change. Conformational changes means normally enzymes are active in tertiary conformation. Primary conformation or secondary conformation means enzymes are inactive. If that is converted into tertiary conformation, then that may be activated. Okay, CB, clear? Conformational changes may take place. Next modification, third one, fourth one may be disulfide bonding, formation of disulfide bonds. What is disulfide bond? Sulfur-sulfur bonds formed between cysteine and cysteine of peptides. Between two cysteines of peptide, there is formation of disulfide bonds. That disulfide bonds are again divided into 2 types. These disulfide bonds are 2 types. One is intra-chain. Intra-chain disulfide bond means a protein with N-terminal, C-terminal is there, means within the same peptide a disulfide bond is formed like this. This is intra-chain. Second one is interchain disulfide bond. Interchain disulfide bond, N-terminal, C-terminal, N-terminal, C-terminal, like that 2 proteins are there, means between that 2 there is formation of S-S bond. Disulfide bonds which are formed between 2 different peptides is called interchain disulfide bond, whereas the disulfide bond present between a single peptide is called as intrachain. So formation of disulfide bonds is responsible for conformational change. That is one more. And fifth step is acylation. Acylation means addition of non-protein units or binding of non-protein parts or non-protein units is called as acylation. Okay, this acylation may be like glycosylation, binding of carbohydrates. If carbohydrates are bound with this protein, then there is a formation of glycoprotein. Majority of enzymes are glycoprotein in nature. Glycoproteins are formed. Cysteine is one amino acid, another cysteine is another amino acid. Right? Here one cysteine amino acid is there. Normally how cysteine means, cysteine has a SH group, another cysteine has another SH. These hydrogens are removed and disulfide bond is formed. That is glycosylation. And phosphorylation. Phosphorylation means binding of phosphates. If phosphate group are bound, then there is the formation of phosphoprotein. Proteins may combine with the phosphate group and there is formation of phosphoprotein. Similarly, some more, liposylation. Third one, binding of lipids to protein, so that there is formation of lipoprotein, and binding of metals, there is formation of metalloproteins. Binding of pigments, example, heme plus globin, that results in formation of hemoglobin. Pigments, heme is a colored pigment, globin is a protein. To the protein globin, there is binding of a colored pigment called heme, so that there is formation of a hemoglobin, which is a colored pigment. Like that, to the normal protein, see here normal protein is there, to that normal protein carbohydrate may bind, so that glycoprotein is formed. To the normal protein phosphate group may attach, and so that there is formation of phosphoprotein like casein milk protein. Lipoproteins are formed upon binding of lipids. Metalloproteins are formed upon binding of metal atoms, and that colored proteins are formed upon binding with colored pigments like this. So all these is binding of non-protein units. The non-protein unit, what is this non-protein unit? The non-protein unit, whatever the presence along with that protein, that is called as a prophetic group. Original protein is called apoprotein in India. Enzymes we studied. Original protein present is called as apoprotein. To that apoprotein, there is binding of non-protein unit called prophetic group. When a protein and a non-protein are combined together, then that is called what? Conjugated protein. Conjugated proteins are formed like this. Metalloproteins, phosphoproteins, lipoproteins, glycoproteins, even nuclear proteins also. Write that example also. Sixth one, binding of nucleic acid. There is formation of nuclear protein. Tell me an example to this nuclear protein. Tell me an example to nuclear protein. Protein plus nucleic acid gives nuclear protein. Give me an example. Anyone? Yeah, DNA. DNA with only DNA, what? Right. CB. Not only DNA. Subhadarni, not histone. Not Rekha. Not only DNA. DNA means you are saying only nucleic acid. RNA means only nucleic acid, you are saying. Histone means only protein, you are saying. Yeah, DNA with histone. Yeah, very good, Jay Rekha, CB. DNA with histones forms what? DNA with histones forms what? Nucleic acid. You. That's why I am calling abnormal. Conjugate. Chromosome. Goodra. Blessington. Chromosomes. Nucleosomes. Very good answer. Chromatin material or chromosomes or chromatin fibers are formed. That is called what? Nuclear protein. Histone proteins combined with DNA, so that there is formation of nucleosome. That is in large structure means that is called a chromosome. That is the nuclear protein in nature. Even RNA combines with some proteins and form ribosome. DNA polymerase enzyme. Ribosomes are also nuclear proteins because ribosomes are made up of some types of RNAs and different proteins. Okay? Understand? Alright, time also, now it is 11 o'clock. So that today's topic is over, let us meet tomorrow afternoon.